Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Yale Center for British Arts online series, Artists and Conversations. I am Robyn Farrell. I'm senior curator at the Kitchen in New York, and I'm delighted to be here and welcome Heather Phillipson to the program today and to join you in our dialogue. Before we begin, there's just a few housekeeping notes that I'm going to alert everyone to. And this would include that during the program, it will be recorded. Your camera and sound are muted and will remain so throughout the program. We're using the Q&A feature, which is located on your navigation bar, to gather your questions for Heather as we can answer them at the end. And feel free to submit the questions, though, at any time. We'll just pause in about 45 minutes into the conversation to open up to all of you. And if you would like closed captioning, a live transcript is available by clicking the icon on your navigation bar. I want to just say for a moment that both Heather and I are actually Zooming in from London, but I am going to give the land acknowledgement for Yale University and the Yale Center for British Art, which acknowledges Indigenous people and nations, including the Mohegan, the Mashantuck Pequot, the Eastern Pequot, the Sketchikout, the Golden Hill Paskset, and Ninimpiak and Quinnipiac and Algonquin, and other speaking people who have stewarded through the generations of the lands and waterways of what is now the state of Connecticut. We honor and respect the enduring relationship that exists between these people and nations and this land. And with that, I am so pleased to again welcome Heather here to this virtual space and to join you in conversation today. A few words about Heather, who was born in London in 1978 and is known for her audacious works across video, sculpture, installation, music, poetry, and digital media, which she describes as quantum thought experiments, which I'm very excited to dig into today. She earned her PhD in fine art from Middlesex University in 2008 and was nominated for the Turner Prize in 2022. Recent projects include Art Night, a commission in 2023 in partnership with the Art Fund's Wild Escape program and the BBC Archive. Tate Britain's Duveen Galleries Commission in London that was in 2021 through 2022. The Fourth Plinth Commission in Trafalgar Square from 2020 to 2022, and a major project for art on the underground flagship site station in 2018. I also want to note that Heather is an award-winning and acclaimed poet and filmmaker, and she received the Film London Jarman Award in 2016 rather, and the European Short Film Festival selection from the International Film Festival Rotterdam in 2018. And in 2024, Phillipson will present a new commission for the Imperial War Museum's 14 to 18 Now Legacy Fund in partnership with the Glen Vivian Gallery, Swansea, and a major solo show at the Kunsthalle St. Annan in Lübeck, Germany, and a new permanent sculpture with hospital rooms for the Holliston Hospital in Norwich, UK. And as I mentioned already, both Heather and I are joining today from London, and London is also where Heather lives and has her practice. So with that, welcome, Heather. I'm so happy to have the opportunity to be in conversation with you today and open up nodes of your practice and discuss the thrust of your career. And I think I'd like to begin with asking you generally about your process. You know, what sparks a work, given the fact that you are working simultaneously across media, whether it be with written language or with sound or moving or static objects. The environment or context or place of an idea seems to be quite important. So I'm wondering what comes first. Is it an idea? Is it the space that then expands into a temporal framework? So I'm hoping we can kind of kick off the conversation there.
Hi, Robyn. Hi, everyone. Thank you also for agreeing to have this conversation with me today. I think probably the short answer to that question is it's all of those things. And consequently, I spend a lot of time kind of in the run up to starting work in a state of total paralysis. The American short fiction writer Grace Paley, who's an amazing, brilliant writer, once described art as something like constant mental harassment. And I think that's often my process as well, because I'm trying to take into account so many things. Like recent projects have often been commissions from specific sites. So I'm often invited to go and see the location, have a walk around the building, or, you know, whatever the site may be. And at the same time, obviously, I'm somebody who's, like we all are, marinated in, you know, whatever cultural, political moment, my own sort of personal history, all kinds of things that are feeding in what else I'm looking at. And so there's always like a kind of, I guess, like, I think you use the word spark, which is the right word for me, because I'm always waiting for the moment when there's something has to coalesce between those things and somehow find a way into what it is that I'm trying to do in that particular space at this particular moment. And quite often what happens is, once I visit a site, I will get like a particular feeling. Something quite often happens in that visit where I sense like a tone that I want to conjure in the space. And then gradually over time, things start sticking to that. And it's like I'm definitely like an accumulator and then a whittler down. So I kind of gather and gather and gather until it reaches bursting point, and maybe that's my, you know, the moment where the paralysis can stop and I can get started. But yeah, it's like, it has to be this coming together of all of those things simultaneously. And I wish I knew what the specific route to get there was, because then I could replicate it. But generally I'm kind of always trying to forget like everything I've made before and everything I think I know, and kind of trying to start from scratch insofar as that's possible.
I think that, you know, in seeing your work, and kind of, especially as we've been discussing in preparations for this conversation over time, we've talked about this, about there's this element of anew with each project, but also there's at one point earlier in your career, there was this idea of kind of a reuse or a revisiting. Things pop in and pop out as far as imagery and themes are concerned. For me, something that I've read throughout most of your work is the framework or structure, that despite the fact that something might be a installation in a, you know, underground rail station, or if it's installation at a museum or an art fair, there's this sense of poetic or rhythmic structure that is very evident in each iteration or each version of a work that you do. And I can only imagine that your background across disciplines that you kind of just spoke about, music and poetry, even DJing, informs both the content and compositional considerations of your work. And I'm wondering if you could expand on that a little bit. You know, I've read various, you know, observations of your work, and even you yourself speaking about your work is sort of like walking into a poem, really. So it's sort of this like its own ecosystem. So is there anything you want to give us insight on there, or using any particular work as an example?
Maybe I'll bring up a show that I had at Tate Britain here in London the year before last, trying to work out when it was now. Just to give, you know, something that I can refer to while I'm speaking. Yeah, I've discussed this idea of like the rhythmic structure. I feel like, for me, one of the main materials with which I'm always working is time, in whether that's in, you know, it's literally when I'm working with video, or obviously with something like poetry, which unfolds over time, or music, but also spatially. So I'm thinking very much about like your passage through the space, how you get from one side of the space to the other, whether you're arriving like halfway through, whether you're coming in at the beginning, as it were, and coming out at the end, or whether you might be coming in at the end and leaving at the beginning. And I think in some way was trying to sort of violate the laws of time in some way, and trying to achieve that through what gets revealed often and when. So thinking of it very much as like an unfolding as you walk through the space, and that various things get revealed as you progress through the space, in the same way that as you you know, as you're watching a film or you're listening to music, obviously you don't necessarily know what's coming up, but you may anticipate something because of a particular tone or you know, an understanding of like musical structure. You kind of get a sense of what might be coming next. So in this image that I've got up at the moment, you can see quite clearly that there's a very long view through the rooms, which is also partially obscured, and also a layering of color. So, you know, when I was talking a minute ago about, like, I often start with sort of tone, like a feeling for a space. When I was first invited to do this work at Tate Britain, I visited the space, which is this very sort of neoclassical building. It's a kind of corridor because it's like a main thoroughfare. It's a free entry, free access space off which the other galleries lead. So a lot of visitors come into this space before they see other shows. You don't, like I said, you don't pay for it. So it feels very much like a transitional space, and it's actually 3 simultaneous spaces, which is great for me because I quite often like to work in series as well. So I kind of like the fact that there may be something, which again, maybe you'll see in other images that I show, but that there may be different parts that get revealed through those that sequencing, like movements in a piece of music or like stanzas in poems, that can somehow you know, maybe they relate very directly to each other, but maybe they're also somehow they jar with each other. So I guess like the classic sort of triptych, right? This procession through the rooms is like those spaces become in conversation with each other as well. So this was the first room, which I knew immediately that I wanted it to have this. I chose this red palette, and I knew that I wanted to have this very kind of hot tone. You can't really see in this photograph, but on the walls there are paintings of clouds which look like they're kind of bursting out towards you as you enter the space. And then there's audio coming from every one of these speakers. And then there are these animal eyes that are on the monitors beneath at the bottom there. And like I said, you can see through the legs of the ram. There's the model of the ram behind me that was the working model for the giant ram at Tate. And you can see through to the next spaces. So this was the next room, which had a purple tone. So it was very much, you know, it was a very direct kind of transition from red to purple to, as you can see in the final space, blue. But there was this opportunity because the second space is circular to block your route through it as well. I'm also interested in sculpturally how the sculptures might kind of interfere with your transition through the space and how you become an active participant in the space. And very much in this particular show that as a human, you were very much pushed to the side. So you had to walk around the work at all times to get to it or to get to what was behind it. So there was also audio in all of these spaces as well. And then you get to this, the final space. I wonder if it's useful for me to quickly show a bit of video clip actually, because then you get a bit.
That would be great, because I think, you know, the auditory elements in your work are so powerful, and I think to really kind of give everyone a sense of the layering construction of this installation, it would be wonderful to have a clip.
And also it's actually almost a consideration of mine as well, that I don't want things in a way a bit like I've described. I don't want it to be assimilable at one glance. And this is, you know, as soon as you take a static photograph within a frame, you might imagine that you've seen the whole work, but you haven't, because there's a lot of stuff that's happening outside the frame that you don't see inevitably. So let me just see if I can find. So this one will give you a walkthrough of the space, of the first space. Sorry, let me just see. I'm dragging it over from a different screen. Let me see why it's. There we go. I'm just going to drag over the next couple of rooms as well so you can see those too. I'll just play them all back to back. Forgive the poor documentary quality. These are ones that I shot on my iPhone while stumbling through the space.
So in this room, the clouds are moving. Whereas
Exactly, yeah.
Whereas in the first room, the red room, they were painted, so they were static.
Yes,
So sort of you're kind of messing with the knowns and the the knowns and the real and what's not.
exactly. That was really important to me, that those that you had that kind of referencing back to what you'd already experienced, and it was done so that the clouds were moving in opposite directions. So when you came into the first space, the clouds were kind of moving towards you, and when you went into the last space, they were moving away from you, kind of pushing you out of the space at the end. So this sense of kind of animation and like force, I guess, in a way. Like, I think quite often in my work, I'm thinking very much about like the dynamics and the forces that becomes a material in the work as well. And again, what you don't see in static images, say for example, you just saw before I started walking forwards in this video to film, you had the kind of makeshift wind turbines that are made out of ship's anchors. So everything's in motion, really. I'll just turn this up because this has got audio as well. So it was really important to me to use that. I wanted the whole gallery space, which again, you can't, you don't receive through a computer, and it's the critical importance of being there as a bodily experience, is that the whole gallery was kind of resonating. So every different space you walked through, that the sound was kind of visceral, and that then you came to this last space where again it was like its own resonant chamber within the resonant chamber of the gallery. And these gas canisters became a kind of wind turbine, not a wind turbine, a wind chime within this, so then the red space was like referring back to the red space at the beginning as well. So there were all these kind of repetitions and like callings back to things that you'd already experienced as you moved through the gallery space.
I really appreciate the sense of collage sort of in real time, there's so many different examples of collage in your work with, your videos. There's multiple images and sounds that are layered over and pushing against one another. But really your installations are collages. So it's like a collision, of reference points and objects in real time. And I think that helps you sort of confuse the real from the fantastical, and the disparate articles that are either consumer or organic materials. And that sort of brings me to something else I'd like to pull out here, and I think you can easily reference many examples from the work that you have in your image archive. But this idea that material, and how what I'd like to know is at what point or how do you see the difference or the range of materials that you use? You may use dirt or gravel, real organic matter in some cases. And then in others, in this image here, it looks like maybe you have, these are like scumbles of mylar or some other kind of, non-organic good. And it's, my question is sort of twofold. It's is there a formula or a specific thought in marrying these two very different objects in very different worlds? And two, how do you manage material? I know sometimes you reuse material, and I think that comes from a lot of what we've been saying about kind of bringing in a theme, bringing it in, taking it out throughout your practice. But I think also part of it is this idea of an ecologically sound practice, which I know you're very much, cognizant and mindful, especially of treatment of animals and their consideration from an environmental perspective. So it's kind of like a 2-point question. And really talking about the materials you use and how they how they become tools for discussion and interpretation in your practice.
So there are so many ways into answering that question, but there was something you said right at the beginning that I just wanted to come back to, which was something about the real and the fantastical or something. And
Yes.
I was thinking there's like a real, I think I'm always attempting to make whatever the real space is into a space of the imagination, so that the space, even though it's often still visible in some form, is like somehow it's like a different world is being activated when you step inside it. But within that world, there may be multiple things that have great currency beyond, inevitably have great currency beyond that. And right from the very beginning of making work, I was using kind of found things. I mean, that term is slightly dubious because obviously it's they were often sourced as opposed to found. But, you know, things from the real world that maybe had like, you know, already had a life or had a cultural reference that may already be like an ideal form in somebody's mind. Like, I'm just going to pull over. This was an early booth that I did at Art Brussels, where I was trying to kind of turn the white booth into some other strange landscape. And I think there's often an attempt to make some kind of deranged landscape within the work. And this one did have, in fact, you can't see it in this photo. I think those are real potatoes hanging off the end of the bathtub. And somebody had to go out and source some melons. There were like very large melons in the bathtub. But this was and there are some potatoes on the floor actually over there at the bottom of the kind of pineapple.
I see them.
Yeah. So I think like intellectually, I'm sort of far more interested in impermanence than permanence, and in a way really, which goes against a lot of what art is kind of supposed to do. My work is really intended often to be temporary, and I often, like I said, often I'm working with things that are have already had another life, and that they may kind of speak of that life somehow, you know. So for example, in the Tate show that I just had up, and I referenced the wind turbines that were made out of ship's anchors, or, you know, you had the old gas canisters, the grain silo. Everything has already existed in another world, in another life, and then it's been brought in here. And what resonances do those objects hold, whether one's encountered that actual object before or not? I think there's a sense of them already having had a life, whether it's conscious or not. That there's something about bringing all of those different materials and lives into this new world that I'm trying to activate, that feels like it's very important to me. And also in terms of like the repetition of some materials, you know, to go back to the thing about music as well, and you were talking about collage, and I think I suppose my starting point would feel much more like sampling. You know, this idea of taking sort of fragments and repeating them over and over again, and that they might come back in other works, so that there's like a palette that's being created across the work, so that I may, you know, often have like there's a show I'm working on at the moment that will have fruit in it again. And I wasn't necessarily thinking like, oh, I've got to have fruit in my show because that's what I do. It just so happened that that's just what it needed. Exactly. It just needed some oranges in it. So you know, there's often this sort of circling back to things that recur, almost like I was going to say like trauma. It's not trauma, but like, I don't know, I was thinking sometimes with videos as well, you know, this utilization of like the cut and paste kind of method that I use, and often having like quite crudely stuck on images on top of other existing images, and again that kind of sampling and collaging and assembling, that it's like generating these layers of references and things that keep reappearing, you know, that there's like this capacity for things to keep coming back again and again and again. And then that again goes back to time, and, you know, this kind of desire to somehow violate the laws of time, and that these things keep recurring. And so although things are impermanent, they may represent themselves at certain moments. That's a very convoluted answer, but it's quite a complex question.
I was going to say I gave you a multi-layered question, but I think that you sort of hit all the points. I think a nice bridge to this might be to look at images from the two different exhibitions you did for the Baltic Center of art, because I know when we first spoke, it was kind of this great point for, you said it was quite nice to be able to have two shows over a period of in two different moments in time. So in some ways, I wanted to give a moment to that so that you can talk through how you might look at the same place differently, and also thinking about audience, right? And the fact that there more than likely would be many of the same visitors, right, that saw your work. I think, was it first in 2013 or 2014, and then, again in 2018. So if you could maybe walk us through those two installations, I think it might be a nice way to circle through some of the things we've been talking about with revisiting and reusing and creating world creation.
So it might be useful for me just to put this show in context as well, in terms of my kind of career trajectory, such as it is. This was my first solo show at Baltic, and up until that point, I'd actually hadn't even done that many sculptural works. It just so happened that a curator had seen one sculpture that I'd done, and then I did an event with an artist called Phillipson, who was having a show at the Baltic, and she was inviting other artists to participate, and she invited me to do a kind of, at the time I was doing this thing called talking pictures, where I would speak live over videos, and I went and did one of those for her installation, her evolving installation, and then got to know one of the curators there, and he said, do you want to do a solo show on our ground floor, which at the time was enormous to me. Mm-hmm. And it really generated a massive shift in the way that I was able to think about my work. At that point, I was mainly working with video on a laptop in a tiny space. I didn't have a studio, and suddenly I had to really up my game to be able to produce something for this space. Anyway, so this is the entrance to the show, and already at this point I was thinking of how I wanted the space to spill over into the foyer, so that you were experiencing the work before you'd even walked into the space. And this was one of those shows, a bit like I started describing earlier, where I felt very much like you were entering from the back of it. So there was already this kind of this desire to utilize time in that way, and what was going to be unfolding and what was revealed at certain points. So you were fed into this dark chamber. I was very interested in the way that when you go to a cinema, quite often by the time you found a screen, you've lost all sense of where the road is that you walked in from, and that kind of loss of bearing does something to your psyche within the space, and the kind of different parts of yourself that enables you to access all the different worlds. And it feels very much like you are leaving the external world behind. So I wanted it kind of like a hermetically sealed thing, that you would go somewhere very dark and things would be revealed. So yes, you entered into this corridor with I had it that there were twists and turns, and then you ended up in this kind of viewing area at the bottom where there was a video. You sat and watched the video, and then you appeared through the opening. So you wouldn't have seen it from this perspective. You'd have been looking the other direction. So you walked out onto this kind of river. Of course, this is a nod to Nikki de Saint-Phal, and her sculptures, which were also accessible internally. That was a real touchstone for me at that moment. But everything was two-dimensional in this. Oh, that seems to be the last. Oh no, sorry, for some reason it's bringing them up in the wrong order. So it was kind of like very much using this idea. They'd also asked me to do a walking tour around Gateshead and Newcastle, where Baltic's just on the edge of the Tyne in Gateshead, and then you can cross over the bridge and you're in Newcastle. They wanted me to do a walking tour. So from the beginning, I had this idea of like journey somehow in my head. So every part of this show in the Baltic was like you were entering on like a different stage of the journey, if you like, some kind of strange odyssey. So you were invited. At this point, I was very interested in kind of giving the audience like a point of view perspective, so that you would get into the sort of first person perspective and be within the work in that kind of role, as it were. Let's see if it'll. So that's what you would see. Then you're going inside a mouth inside the boat, and then you ended up. Sorry, I don't know why it's doing them all backwards. In the last, then there was another room where you went into a car, which you were invited to sit inside and watch a video. So you had to get into the car to watch the video on the windscreen. And actually, maybe just before I come to the other show at Baltic, it might be useful just to talk briefly here about how this work, the one that was shown inside the sort of the birthing chamber with the red walls and the blue, that not long after Baltic, I was invited to do an exhibition at Matthew Day Jackson's space in New York. In Brooklyn, he used to have a little gallery space that he had opened up inside this former nightclub that he was living at in Brooklyn. And he had this idea that he wanted to show artists in a very kind of intimate setting. So it would just be one visitor at a time. So you'd book an appointment and it would just be you and the work. And so for me, this idea of like translating that kind of birthing chamber into this space seemed like the perfect thing that, again, you could climb inside it. As you can see, it's a radically different working. It doesn't really look like the Baltic show, but I feel like structurally and conceptually, for me, it works in quite a similar way. So again, you're walking into an environment that has it's again like taking over the whole environment, trying to make the space into a sort of more fantastical place of my imagination. And then again, like the video area is obscured, so it's hidden behind the shower curtain, and it's placed above a birthing pool, which you were invited to sit in to watch the video. And doing it again. Anyway, let me just get to, for some reason, it won't let me scroll back up, and there you go. So that was what you saw if you were sitting in the birthing pool. So it was the same video from the first room at the Baltic. And that was what you saw on your way out. And some of this stuff was made while I was there. So I kind of lived in the space for a few weeks, and like this sculpture that was above the door, when I was there, I just felt like I was going around a lot of the dollar shops nearby. And I was like, oh, I just feel like I need to do something, with this area as you walk out, that there would be like a final thing that you saw on your way out. But just to come on to your question about the Baltic, the other Baltic show. So what was kind of amazing was that excuse me, looking the other way, I've got two screens open. Now I've got to find the other. What was very rare about this show was they invited me to come back and make a second show. Sorry, for some reason those images aren't open, which I think very rarely happens. I feel like most institutions, once you've done something with them once, like you've had your go. And it was amazing that Baltic said to me, do you want to come back and do another show 5 years later? And, kind of like a half decade, like, I don't know, see what's happened to your work in between. And this time we'll give you a bigger space. So they gave me the biggest, so at that point, I thought that was the biggest space ever. And then they moved me up to their top floor gallery, which was absolutely enormous. So let me just open some of these. Sorry, it seemed to be the one thing I didn't have open. So this is in the top floor gallery at Baltic. And for me, it feels like radically different to the first show, but I guess actually it used some similar tropes. So for example, again, what you can't see in the photograph, but what you experienced walking into the gallery was you kind of came in from the back again. So I had huge sort of painted cliffs, but you walked in from the back. So you saw all of the timber structures and they obscured your view of the gallery. Then you came in and you can just see here on the right, there was like, I'd formed these alleyways down the side using cattle barriers. So you came in and you were pushed to the side and you walked all the way down the side of the space. And then you were fed back into this room. So it was using the same kind of, the same device of like not seeing the show until you'd walked down and come back in. So you'd already had an experience, and you'd experienced some of the work before you got to the kind of long view of it. This one had multiple, sorry, go on.
Oh no, I was just going to say that I think that you're right. It's very clear this was a bigger space, and to me, what I find to be, of course, this is also just the textures in what we see, and I know what was experienced were quite vast, and it seems like a building point from your initial show in the Baltic, but I really like what you said, is that this connecting conceit is this idea of, you have durational works inside your installations, but like the installations are durational to begin with, and the guiding elements that you put into place, whether it be the cattle gates, is that what you said? The cattle fence, right? Or the river, say in the first iteration. But just to clarify for some of the viewers that may not be familiar with this installation, am I correct in that the ground, this was gravel? Is that right? So not only did you have like a soundtrack from some of the media work that was in the space, but one was physically making their own sound by traversing through the environment.
Exactly, and I wanted it to be, again, that when you walked into the space, actually this show was a full sensory experience, because I also had smell that was pumped into the space. I wanted the scent of petrichor, which is the smell of like the earth after the rain, which inevitably is incredibly hard to reproduce. So it didn't smell like that, but there was a kind of earthy smell in there. And then, yes, exactly, because the gravel had a kind of a crunch underfoot. There was an audio component to it, like a self-created audio component to it, but also a tactility. So even though in this show you weren't, in the early show you were invited to literally get in the work, to sit in the bathtub to watch the video, sit in the birthing pool, to sit in the boat, to sit in the car. At this point, you weren't really invited to sit in the work, but you were part of it and activating it still, like you said, through activating the sound of the space. I can show a quick video of this one as well, which might give a better sense of it. Just see. Sorry, now I've just got to it. Right. Anyway, I can be getting that one open, but yeah, so
you can, well, I can, maybe what I'll do, because it's almost 4:45. I mean, there's a few other images I'd love for us to run through, but I'll read one of the questions from the Q&A in the meantime. I think that Heather, it'd be nice to see this video, but also a question that came up is, which are the museums you return to and why? I actually want to add on to that question, because we haven't had a chance to address, you showed the one installation from Brussels, but I know in our initial conversation, I had said that my first experience with your work was in New York, when you had installations at Performa and at Frieze. So I'm going to expand on this question that someone left about what museums and why, which I welcome you to answer. But also, if you could speak about the different environments, the physical environments in which you do work, and this can also bring us to some of the more public installations that you've done. Is it just that it keeps your practice very fresh to think about whether or not something is at, say, an art fair versus a museum or in a public square? What drives your decisions, or kind of is it the work that you kind of think about, and how you might be able to engage a certain theme or subject?
I absolutely love being offered to work in places that aren't a white cube gallery space, and I don't have a commercial gallery, and I think maybe because of that, and maybe the scale of the work that I've done previously, I'm often invited to work in spaces that aren't white cube gallery spaces. And so, a bit like what I said before, we're using materials that have already had a life, that have a context. there's immediately something that I'm responding to, and that context gets taken into account. And so for me, there's already like an energy that comes. I'm always looking for like following the energy. Like that's my kind of, that's how I make work, how I get to the point of making. And so, yeah, I'm like the invitation to work in spaces that already have, you know, some kind of context other than being a gallery, even if it's an art fair, you know, like Frieze, where you know, it's a very loaded context for so many reasons. But I was part of Frieze project, so you're not invited to make a like a commercial booth. You're invited to make something that somehow intervenes in the structure of Frieze. So this was something, the image that's up at the moment was, I was offered, as well as being told I could put things anywhere sort of throughout, or there were certain points within the tent I could put work, I was also offered like an area that was kind of like a booth, but it was like half a booth, so it was open. And I had this recurring motif of these dogs. I wanted it to be as if the fair had been taken over by these animatronic dogs, and they all had robotic wagging tails, and they were engaged in like the detritus of all of the, you know, wiring and stuff like that. And so they appeared at various points within the fair. And again, you can't really get a sense of it from this because it had audio and it was moving. There's a close-up. So this was right at the entrance to the fair. And then that was at the exit once you left the fair. So yeah, that's, I can maybe just show, I was going to just show you something from, I'm going to answer the question about galleries as well. I haven't forgotten. Maybe just show you a quick picture of this one, which is the one at Gloucester Road station, as another kind of context. Sorry, I'm just looking for the.
This was incredible. I mean, I didn't have the opportunity to see it in person. I can only imagine what it would have been like in real time. But you know, this takes on, to me, I read this as almost like a set, you know, like a theatrical or cinematic set. And it's like a little discovery that's hidden underground. You know, I can't say enough at how I just am so curious, like how a question I had thought about asking you is insofar as sourcing your materials, but also, I mean, how, if you know, you don't have a gallery, do you have like a studio team that you work with that helps you kind of not make, but sort of produce these large scale works?
So I work on my own, like everything, like from the genesis of the idea to the point where it's being fabricated is just me managing everything. But since I did the Fourth Plinth on Trafalgar Square, I'll just pull that over as we're talking about it, because now I'm going to rattle through some images. Since I did the Fourth Plinth on Trafalgar Square, which obviously I couldn't make myself,
Right.
I worked with a fabricator for that, and I now work with them a lot for these like larger scale installations. So they also made the work that I just showed at Gloucester Road station, but obviously under my very careful supervision. And in terms of like determining materials, of course, when you're working in context like something in external public space or in the underground, there are limitations on what kind of materials you can use, which is also kind of dictated somewhat not only the change in the aesthetic for that reason, but also because, you know, there are different constraints on the kinds of materials. I can't put cardboard outside, for example. So I don't know what I've just done with the other one now, but yeah, so let's just.
I think that that's helpful for folks to hear, is that, you know, you've been able to manage your own studio up into a point, right, when things just become too large scale and have too many factors. And, you know, artwork being outside is something that really does it's necessary for collaboration to take place, because there's too many modes of expertise that need to come together when considering both engineering but also environmental considerations.
exactly, like all of this stuff has to be signed off by a structural engineer and to
Sure.
be structurally sound, and has to last for a certain amount of time.
Right.
So yeah, I'm still very much like, I work on my own. I don't have any assistants, partly because I don't know how I would delegate, the
Yeah.
thinking process and the resolute, because there's so many aspects to it, and stuff happens quite intuitively, and I don't really know how I would delegate that. But then, yes, at a certain point, and I'm lucky now, I've done a few projects with this particular fabricator. They kind of understand how I work, and so they'll say, well, you probably want to have that showing, don't you? Whatever it is, some of the structure. And I'll say yes. Like, they know that there are certain things that recur in my work that they understand now, and so there's a kind of shorthand around certain things.
Another question that's come through, which I think you might be able to answer hopefully quickly. And look, see, here's just, I'm going to interrupt myself here. The presence of a foot, right? So this is in the at Schön in Germany. I can't remember which year.
2015, yeah.
2015. So then 3 years later, a foot appears again at the Baltic. Is this the same foot?
It's the same foot. It got shipped.
Same foot.
I was
Great.
so one of the issues I have, as you can see, I do have a studio. It's not enormous. I can't store a 5-meter foot in it. I was very fortunate that somebody at the opening to that show, another artist, said, "What are you going to do with that foot? You can't chuck it away. Let me take it for you." So I've got bits like this kind of stored with generous people around the world. And he held on to it for me, and then we had it shipped to the UK so that it got to have another outing at Baltic.
This was perfect how we stumbled upon this, because there is a question in the Q&A that asked about what happens to objects after the shows, and you must have a very tight warehouse. So this answers that question there. So that was perfect. I'll let you speak about this installation, which was quite incredible, but I had to sort of seize the moment to discuss the foot.
No, this is good. I'm glad you brought it up, because I sort of stopped seeing these things after a while because it's so familiar to me. So but yeah, it was something I meant to, when you were talking earlier about things recurring, and like, we were talking about sort of collaging and sampling and materials that come back. So yeah, like, I'm even sort of recycling my own stuff sometimes, and it reappears in other works. So yeah, this was an installation that I did at Schön in 2015. So this was when I'd reached this. I had the show at Baltic, and then I'd done a few. I can't remember what I did in 2014 off the top of my head, but I started getting invitations to do things in sort of difficult spaces. And I was kind of always felt like I don't really want to make stuff unless I'm slightly scared. That seemed to be like a good starting point for me. And went to see this space at Schön, which is a rotunda, so it's an incredibly hard space to work in, and it's mirrored. But I'm using some of the kind of same devices. So I built in this viewing platform. Like, you can see there are like 2 levels to the work, so you can, again, you're still invited to kind of participate in it, and somehow you're physically invited to interact. Unfortunately at that point, I don't know why, but it wasn't wheelchair accessible. I regret that now, because everything that I've made since has been, I think. But yeah, but there was the potential to go up and see it, but also you could see it, although the windows are mirrored, you could go upstairs into Schön and look down on it. So it's like a one-way mirror, and you could see out through the windows. And I put audio inside the rotunda, so once you were upstairs in the building, inside the corridor of the rotunda, you got a different audio track, and you could look down on the work. So again, you've got like a different perspective on it. So there's always this like plurality and multi-perspectival thing that's going on, like with the Fourth Plinth as well. There was a live feed from the drone that was looking at Trafalgar Square, so you could kind of get the sculpture's perspective on you as well as your perspective on it. It's just some different views of it.
And
with the video above.
Are those video projections, the 3 different?
Yeah.
Suspensions.
So that's where you see it. It was a very tall space as well. And again, it was like a thoroughfare, because although it was part of Schön, it's also a public space where you can see there's a doorway on either side. So
Right.
that was the route to the subway. So people just pass through there day and night as well.
Mhm. Right. They
And
enter.
again, there's
No, I was just going to say that, you know, folks really enter into, I mean, this is why your work, I think, lends itself to these very, very public uh, spaces, because one can enter your world and traverse through it, right? And then come out on the other side, right? And I think that that's really, again, this guiding principle that you instill through all of your work. And we have a question that sort of touches on that from the Q&A, which talks about the harmony of your work, created by both the aesthetics and the experiential elements, where someone ultimately lands inside your installation, and there are moments to ponder and consider, and asked if there's intention from you on the viewer's experience. Like, are you intentionally thinking about each potential destination within your installation? Is it something that you are hoping to create these opportunities for visitors, or is it something where it's part of a wholesome environment, and what one interprets from it or takes away from it is really up to them?
Yeah, and I can only really sort of plot it according to my own system, which is sometimes opaque even to me. I just have a very clear sense of how things need to be. And it's almost sometimes like I'm working with something that already exists, like I see it in its entirety. My partner's an architect and is often saying to me, "Oh, you should make a model." And I'm like, "I don't want to make a model. I can
Yeah.
see it. I don't need a model. It already
The
exists."
opposite.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like spatially I understand exactly how you're going to move through it and how things are plotted out. But beyond that, I never want to foreclose what that, of course, like what that feels like to somebody else or what they take from it. And like I said, that plurality is really key to the work, so that wherever you're standing within it, you're going to see, even on the Fourth Plinth with the cream and the cherry, actually some of that was obscured depending where you were standing. It had a fly and a drone on it, but you didn't necessarily see both of them simultaneously. So you might get one, tonal reading from it on one side, but then when you walked around and realized there was a drone, you'd understand something else with it.
Right.
And yeah, so that, like, I don't want to foreclose. And also for me, I'm in a way the primary audience. I don't necessarily know what it is, and it's not for me to analyze, let alone dictate how other people feel or understand it or don't understand it.
I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think in terms of space, we have another question here in the Q&A that asks if you find that once you've worked and accomplished such large creations, is it possible for you to revert back to smaller sized or scaled installations or works? Do you find that difficult? Do you appreciate the challenge of changing parameters and physical space?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because this is, again, relates to something I said right back at the beginning about how I'm always trying to forget everything I've made. When I'm starting new work, I'm always trying to forget what I've made. I'm trying to forget what I know, and sometimes to work against it. So I actually haven't put any images of it up, but for example, I was invited to show something in the British Art Show last year, and I made a wall-based collage that was made entirely of drawings that didn't involve a fabricator. That was just me drawing in my studio, and made like a massive mural out of them, a kind of collage mural. And for a show I'm working on at the moment, where I've been offered the whole building, this is the show in Lübeck in Germany, I've actually made I'm making a lot of smaller scale work. So although it's taking over the whole building, it's not one, it kind of is one thing, like it's a unified vision, if you like, but within it, there are lots of smaller things, as opposed to there being like a lot of big things that are working together. Do you see what I mean? Like looking at the thing
Yes,
in Shern, it's
right.
like one
So you
artwork.
have you're able to experiment with scale under the guise of a much larger context of a theme vision in this
Yeah,
in this.
that's much more succinct. Yes.
No, I mean, the fluidity of your work and the the range of discipline is such that to me, from where I'm standing, it seems that that lends itself for you to have this very nimble practice where you could go. I mean, of course, this is the case of many artists, that when you're starting out and it's all about the scale of a work really, it's influenced by space, but space, of course, is informed by support and exposure and opportunity. And so a lot of times artists tend to work bigger and larger as their careers start to expand. So this seems natural to me, but I think the example you just gave of what you're working on for Germany is such a perfect point, that you still have the ability, because of the very translatable aspect of your practice, like what you said at the beginning of like a musical score. There's points where you can edit down, but then also expand.
And I think it's also important for me just to say that I love working on my own, and I kind of really, obviously, as soon as you start working with teams of people, there's a lot of management involved, and you're like having to oversee various aspects of it. And really, what I like more than anything is being in the studio on my own, completely saturated in what I'm doing. So to be able to run away back to making music. So even though there's like this large scale stuff for me, like the making of the music or the making of a video where it's just me and my computer screen, that feels small scale, even though it might end up,
Maybe,
the music might fill a room or the video might
right,
fill a room, but
right.
it feels small scale because it's just me and the thing, and I'm over every element of it. In the same way I'm all over the installation, but it's just somebody else's hands might be on it as well, whereas this is just me.
Yeah.
So
No, I hear what you're saying, and I'm wondering if it's easy for you to pull up a video clip of like what to sort of describe like what you're saying. Insofar as I know, I've seen some of your videos that are included in larger scale works, but so everyone kind of gets a sense of you working at your
maybe
computer.
I'll just show. I mean, this is an installation video. This is from a project I did last year for Art Night, using the BBC archives. They gave me access to their archives, and it was with this program called The Wild Escape. So it was about reconnecting mainly school children with wildlife. But anyway, I'm going to try and cut it a long story short, but I used archive wildlife footage from the BBC. And this is a walkthrough of the show. So I'm just going to go up to the main gallery.
Perfect. Definitely gives context.
You're going to get the very rapid walkthrough. And then this was the installation. So I hope it's got sound and that you'll get a bit of a sense of the video. So this was one, there were no fabricators involved in this show actually. So I did have people helping me install the AV, but there weren't any sort of big sculptural elements. It's really just the video.
With a friend. Across this rug, big iron machines somewhere made of.
I'm trying to find a bit that's got music.
The same video played throughout the space, but installed in different ways.
So it's in this like the main gallery space, the sort of central video is on a screen in the middle, and then I've edited clips from it. So on all of these translucent screens, there are kind of versions of it. So it's like an entire scene that goes around the room. But I made the soundtrack for the video and edited the video and did the subtitling and wrote the script, and I did get somebody to do the voice for me, but other than that, it was all my.
Right. I know I want to be conscious of time, but this brings me up another question is early on your own voice, right, was very prominent in your Talking Pictures series. And I'm curious, do you still like to include your voice from time to time, or you've moved past that to having other narration or voiceover in your work?
I think it just depends where it's appropriate. In my early work, it was very much like I was trying to create a self-sufficient system, and I had the materials to do my own voiceover. I've got a voice,
Right.
and I didn't really see what it would bring to it to like again, maybe it was about managing other people partly as well, but what it would mean to bring in an actor and like train them. And I have quite a monotone delivery, and that became like a signature part of the work. And it kind of enabled me to slip in certain things, like the very flat tone enabled me to slip in certain things, like doing one thing on the surface while getting away with doing something else. And I felt like if I brought in other people, I didn't know what that would do to the work. And also because I write poetry and I used to read the poetry aloud, do readings of it a lot. It was like, it felt key to the work that it was of me. But with this was the first video that I made that had any voice in it for a long time. And as soon as I'd written the script and I'd got the film material, I knew that it wasn't my voice, like it just wasn't right. And that it needed to be more like a proper narrator. So I found somebody, I did some sort of auditioning, and then I found somebody who had just the right tone that I was going for. So who knows, my voice may reappear, but the context would have to be right.
Okay.
But, voice again, like voices are as loaded as anything else. It's like, what are you saying about age, gender, race, nationality, everything? So there's a lot to take into account, even if it is,
Right. And being mindful about, it makes sense why you had such a prominent voice in the early work and maybe how you're considering it now. There have been a couple of questions, and I know we're getting a little bit past our time here, so I might end with this question to you, unless there are specific works that you would like to show or share that we haven't gotten to yet. But there have been a couple of questions that reference, advice or the arc of your career and practice, or what you might bestow to young artists or emerging artists that are trying to make their way. Do you have a succinct go-to advice structure or any insight to lend to the audience today based on your own experience?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, sorry. I think I dropped out for a second.
Yes.
So was your question was like what advice?
Right.
So I mean, I guess I would probably give the same advice to young artists, old artists, any artist that wanted advice, which would probably be to be bold and to follow where the energy leads you, and to persist.
I think that's very good advice. I'd say that can apply probably to many different careers, but especially when thinking about being creative making. And you have obviously proven that being bold and keeping with your voice and your vision is truly the best way forward.
Well, the filmmaker Robert Bresson said something like, "You have to be the first to see what you see the way that you see it," and I've always felt that, like
this
that
comes through. This comes through.
You can't be anybody else,
right? You must.
So
I liked how you said earlier. You said that maybe like you're the first or the initial audience. Remember, like you are the audience, and so that helps you think through and plot out and guide the way into your work. And I think that touches quite directly with that quote, which I think is quite lovely and maybe a nice way to close our conversation, unless Heather, you'd like to add anything else before we say goodbye to everyone.
I don't think so. I think we've covered quite a lot, haven't we? I've managed to rattle through quite a lot of images at the end.
I know. We didn't know how many we'd get through, and I think we really did get there. We're remiss we didn't have too much time to cover or speak about your poetry, but I encourage everyone to seek that out as well in parallel to upcoming work of yours that will be on view this year.
Thanks.
Okay, with that, I just want to thank everyone again for joining us this afternoon. And if you have any other additional questions, you can run them through to Yale. And again, just want to thank Heather for your time and generosity with sharing so much about your work with us today. It's been a real pleasure.
Thanks, Robyn. Thank you for your questions as well, and to everybody who joined us and for your questions.
Yes, exactly. Great questions, a great
Sorry,
audience.
even the ones that I didn't get to.
I think we got to most.
Okay,
All right.
I haven't been keeping an eye.
No, it's all right. That was my job, which I think I did get to most. And all right. Well, I think we'll sign off and thank you everyone again.